Helps if one unmutes. Good morning. We continue our reading of the Gospel of Luke. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. And please do post a greeting, share a comment, let us know that you're here with us. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share with friends. We're in the midst of chapter 13 of Luke. There's the big picture. Let's see here. It is Luke chapter 13, verse 18, where we pick up today. We are on the journey to Jerusalem. Yes, I know that's ironic to say that, given the fact that it's day 2 of Eastertide. It's Bright Monday. Well, we know how this story ends, don't we? But nonetheless, it's good to be reminded of what happened that brought us to this point. And so here we are in this middle section, the journey to Jerusalem. It's middle section that began with sending out the 70, which has included teaching and will include more. Keep in mind, we're in chapter 13. So there's more to go in that circle. Oh, I went back to Lamentations. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's back to Luke. Jesus's kingdom banquets with the poor. Yeah, that's coming up. The blind, the sick, the Samaritans, Zacchaeus. Remember the tax collector? Israel's banquet, Jesus' banquets with Israel's leaders. Note that that's coming up again in chapter 14. And of course, then we're building towards chapter 15, the parable of the prodigal son. So, friends, let's read. Good morning, Linda. I'll be reading from the left-hand column, which is the text is found in the New Living Translation. The right-hand column has the text as it is found in the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition. Pull up our timer, and we'll read. Resuming at chapter 13, verse 18. Then Jesus said, "What is the kingdom of God like? And how can I illustrate it? It is like a tiny mustard seed that a man planted in a garden. It grows and becomes a tree, and the birds make nests in its branches." He also asked, "What else is the kingdom of God like? It is like the yeast of the yeast a woman used in making bread. Even though she put only a little yeast in 3 measures of flour, it permeated every part of the dough. Jesus went through the towns and villages, teaching as he went, always pressing on toward Jerusalem. Someone asked him, Lord, will only a few be saved? He replied, work hard to enter the narrow door to God's kingdom, for many will try to enter, but will fail. When the master of the house has locked the door, it will be too late. You will stand outside knocking and pleading, Lord, open the door for us. But he will reply, I don't know you or where you come from. Then you will say, but we ate and drank with you, and you taught in our streets. And he will reply, I tell you, I don't know you or where you come from. Get away from me, all you who do evil. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for you will see Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, but you will be thrown out. And people will come from all over the world, from east and west, north and south, to take their places in the kingdom of God. And note this, some who seem least important now will be the greatest then. And some who are the greatest now will be least important then. That's a point where I really love this text. The New Living Translation, there's no subtlety in that, isn't there? There's some indirectness in some are last who will be first, and some are first who will be last. There is no indirectness, no subtlety in some who seem least important now will be greatest then, and some who are the greatest now will be least important then. Wow. Resuming with verse 31. At that time, some Pharisees said to him, get away from here if you want to live. Herod Antipas wants to kill you. Jesus replied, go tell that fox that I will keep on casting out demons and healing people today and tomorrow, and the third day I will accomplish my purpose. Yes, today, tomorrow, and the next day I must proceed on my way, for it wouldn't do for a prophet of God to be killed except in Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones God's messengers. How often have I wanted to gather your children together as a hen protects her chicks beneath her wings, but you wouldn't let me. And now look, your house is abandoned, and you will never see me again until you say, blessings on the one who comes in the name of the Lord. One Sabbath day, Jesus went to eat dinner in the home of a leader of the Pharisees, and the people were watching him closely. There was a man there whose arms and legs were swollen. Again, note the lack of subtlety. That's what edema is. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in religious law, is it permitted in the law to heal people on the Sabbath day or not? When they refused to answer, Jesus touched the sick man and healed him and sent him away. Then he turned to them and said, Which of you doesn't work on the Sabbath? If your son or your cow falls into a pit, don't you rush to get him out? Again, they could not answer. When Jesus noticed that all who had come to the dinner were trying to sit in the seats of honor near the head of the table, he gave them this advice. When you are invited to a wedding feast, don't sit in the seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you has also been invited? The host will come and say, "Give this person your seat." Then you will be embarrassed, and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table. Then, when your host sees you, he will come and say, "Friend, we have a better place for you." Then you will be honored in front of all the other guests. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And then he turned to his host. When you put on a luncheon or a banquet, he said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors. For they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Then at the resurrection of the righteous, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you. Hearing this, a man sitting at the table with Jesus exclaimed, "What a blessing it will be to attend a banquet in the kingdom of God." Jesus replied with this story. A man prepared a great feast and sent out many invitations. When the banquet was ready, he sent his servants to tell the guests, "Come, the banquet is ready." But they all began making excuses. One said, "I have just bought a field and must inspect it. Please excuse me." Another said, "I have just bought 5 pairs of oxen and I want to try them out. Please excuse me." Another said, "I just got married, so I can't come." The servant returned and told his master what they had said. His master was furious and said, "Go quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and invite the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame." After the servant had done this, he reported, "There is still room for more." So his master said, "Go out into the country lanes and behind the hedges and urge anyone you find to come, so that the house will be full. For none of those I first invited will get even the smallest taste of my banquet." We're going to pause there, friends, and next time we'll pick up right here at verse 25. Good morning, Mom. Blessings to you all, dear friends. Peace be with you, and a joyous Eastertide.